I waited to make this video to see what would happen in the first few months of 2024, and it confirms my suspicion on what this year is gonna kind of look like. Let's see what moving to Boise, Idaho will bring in 2024 when it comes to the housing market. In 2023, a lot of people said the market would crash, especially in Boise. As we now know, that didn't happen. Housing came down about 10 to 20% from all-time highs in 2021, but then they bounced back in 2023 and we stayed fairly level the entire year. All of that while interest rates hit almost 8%. Now, I say all of this because 2024 is looking different already. Mortgage rates have declined across the board and the Fed's plan to cut them 3 times in 2024. They flat out came out and said that. Inventory continues to remain low and prices are remaining high while homebuyers plan on coming out in 2024 according to many sources and from what we're also seeing on the ground floor from me and my team. So let's discuss what is happening in the market right now and lay some of the groundwork down, then what this means for Boise housing in 2024, and finally what you can do about it to make the best decision for you and your family in 2024. The first thing is that mortgage rates have already dropped substantially going into 2024 with the peak at almost 8%. We're now sitting right around 6.5%, with some of my clients getting down to 5.5% with some concessions still hanging around. And this is without the Feds making any cuts yet. You have seen they flat out said they would cut federal rates 3 times this year. So it's looking like we will be seeing rates come down further in 2024. Next is inventory. It is still low, sitting at around 1,500 homes in the Boise area. For reference, there was around 2,500 in 2022 at the tail end of the all-time high home prices. And now what does this mean in 2024? So for starters, we will see seller concessions and lowball offers go away. Right now, we still have some concessions being offered to buy down interest rates or cover closing costs, but just in the last 2 months, our team went from getting right around $10,000, I'd say, sometimes more on most offers, to now $5,000, and this is with asking over price, or we're not getting any concessions at all. I just had a client get $0 in concessions and they weren't willing to give negotiation because they had multiple offers, full price offers. So, and this is especially if you are looking in homes under the $450,000 range. Anything under that is definitely going to be a lot busier. Next is, of course, the interest rates. So even though home prices in 2023 didn't rise and they fell late 2022, people's monthly payments went up dramatically. So what does that mean? It means that the value of homes to people still continued to rise, even though purchase price didn't go up, meaning a $400,000 home in 2021 had a monthly payment of $1,500, but today someone is willing to spend $2,500 a month for that same house. So when interest rates come down along with that monthly payment, guess what's going to happen to the purchase price to keep up with that monthly payment? They will rise. Also remember that for every 1% drop in interest rates, it allows another 5 million buyers to enter the market and to be able to afford homes, especially under that $450,000 mark here in the Boise area. So in short, demand will go up and home prices will rise substantially in 2024 and going into 2025 based on all of that logic and data. This is especially true in Boise, where we're still one of the fastest growing and most desirable places to live. There's also an election year this year, which in 2020 was part of the reason that we did see a huge migration from other states like California and Idaho. So not only will this election year lower the interest rates because the current administration wants the economy to look as great as possible and it needs to look great so that they get reelected, but we will likely see the fear and emotions kind of push people to move and purchase homes before the next election, which will further drive those prices up and activity in the housing market. Now, there is one caveat to all of this, and that may slightly slow down the increase in home values and competition, and that is that interest rates coming down, it may push people to list their homes and raise the inventory so they can upgrade into their second home or get a little bit bigger house. It's easier to stomach going from a 3% interest rate to a 5 than it is obviously from a 3 to a 7. But in Boise, the inventory is so low and the demand is going up fast enough. Plus, it's still not easy to go from a 3 to a 5% that I don't think it will be enough to slow the increase in home prices to where it stabilizes. I still think the demand will outpace the supply of inventory. Now, before we go into what you can do about it, I'm Brady Fagel. I am a local realtor that has lived and grown up here in the Boise area for over 20 years. So I would love to help you navigate moving to Boise. And even if you don't decide to move here, because it is not for everyone, I would be happy to help you find the best fit for you and your family. So shoot me a text or a call or an email. But let's get back into the video on what 2024 is going to look like. What can you do about this? Well, if you're thinking of moving to Boise and you can swing it, it may be smart to move and buy sooner rather than later. Anytime before March, really. Right now, you can take advantage of the lower interest rates and the lower home prices. And of course, there's always options to refinance later when those interest rates come down. I personally did this and just purchased a home for that exact same reason, as I wanted to get in before interest rates came down, and what I think is going to happen is home prices come up. Now, you may see other people say that the market's going to crash, it's going to continue to crash, and that 2024 is going to be worse, but this is exactly why I waited to make this video, because in the first month of this year, I've had clients where we're losing out on homes to 5 to 6 offers. Some are over asking price. Concessions, like I said, are going away or they're getting a lot lower. And all of the watches I have on listings are getting more and more emails. So there's a lot more activity going on in the market already in January, which is typically one of the slower months of the year. And this means that there are people coming back out, listing their homes more and more, but the demand for those listings is rising faster than they can come on the market, because homes are staying on the market for a shorter amount of time now, even with that increase in inventory. And remember that there's always a cycle every year where December and January are typically the slowest months of the year when it comes to your average purchase and sale of homes. And then in the spring, when weather warms up, especially here in Boise, it picks up very fast and the market really starts to move again. So with all of that, we will see what happens in 2024. But if you need clarification or you want help finding out if it makes sense for you to make a decision sooner, reach out. There may be some options.